I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Tony James, Managing Director of Galena Mining, to the stage. Tony has over 30 years mine operating and project development experience, predominantly in WA. He also has experience as Managing Director of 3 other ASX-listed companies, successfully guiding 2 of those companies through a merger and takeover process. Tony is no stranger to bringing projects into production, having helped bring the Pillara Zinc Lead Mine and the Trident Higginsville Gold Mine into production. Given this background, he's experienced to lead Galena Mining forward as it completes mine development and construction of the Abra lead-silver mine. Please welcome Tony.
Thanks, Libby. G'day everyone, welcome back to Diggers. It's great to see you all here, and it's fantastic to see all of our long travelling, far distance people here again, so it's awesome. So 12 months ago I stood up here and I was telling you about the Abra project that we're building at Galena, and I said we're off, we've got the money and we're off to build this project. And whilst we've been going through lots of interesting things in the world over the last 12 months, that's what we've been doing, we've been building it. And we're on track, and we're spending the right amount of money to get this thing built by the end of the year. So I'm going to give you a 15-minute overview of what we've been up to and try to get you really fired up about lead mining, because that's really exciting. And I know you're all here to look for some diversity in your portfolios and have a look at some different things. So have a look at what we've been doing. I'm very proud of our team. We're doing a fantastic job, and we're just about ready to kick some serious goals going forward. I'd just like to acknowledge our local custodians of the land that we're building the Abra mine on, the Jitty Corporation. They've been fantastic, and we've been working very closely with them, and it's great that we've been able to work close with them moving forward. Quick disclaimer, there is production guidance numbers in our presentation. I just need to make you aware that there are some inferred mineral resources in that guidance. So just be very aware of that when you're looking at it and reviewing that. We're very confident about our mine plan. We're very excited about the drilling that we've seen so far. Some of our grade control drilling is looking very good. We're very excited that the plan's really starting to stack up. Well, let's talk about Abra. Abra's in a pretty interesting part of WA. It's in a new area, new mineral province. I call it it's the Edmund Sedimentary Basin. It's in the Gascoyne region. It's sitting between the gold mines to the south around Meekatharra and up before the iron ore mines up to the north, up at Newman. We're about 100 kilometres to the west of DeGrussa, the copper mine at DeGrussa. We're in the middle of nowhere. So we've got about 150 kilometres from our site across to the Great Northern Highway, and we cross the Gascoyne River to take our concentrate that we'll be producing down to the Port of Geraldton, where we've got all our agreements in place and everything set up to go to start shipping concentrate in early next year. Let's talk about lead, little bit of lead reality. As I've been going through this project in the last 12 months, there's been lots of people making lots of assumptions about lead. You hear a lot of stories about lead, and what I would ask people to do is to spend some time, do some research, have a bit of a think about what's going on. In 2021, the global lead consumption for refined lead was 13.1 million tonnes. We very strongly as a company support the elimination of lead-bearing petrol fumes and also the use of lead-based paints. We don't like that. Everyone wants to see that out of the world. And we also support very actively increased recycling of lead in the world. Our joint venture partner Toho are major recycle partners in Japan. 80% of lead is currently used in batteries. 65% of that is in automotive batteries. 50% of that is replacement batteries. About 400 million lead-acid batteries gets produced each year, providing 1.4 billion vehicles worldwide. So for every 7 people there's a vehicle, and nearly all of them have got lead-acid batteries in them. And a lot of them will eventually need replacement. Every vehicle, including a large majority of EVs, still have lead-acid batteries, 12-volt lead-acid batteries. Now that might surprise a few of you. The old EV's got a good old battery in it. Why is that? It's cheap, it's reliable, and you need it for the safety systems of the car, and it works. It really controls the power function of the car, all the systems. It works really, really well. And I think the other thing that's really quite interesting is the penetration into the market of hybrid vehicles, Hybrids, 70% less emissions and 30% less cost to run. So I think hybrids definitely do have a place going forward, and they'll all need batteries as well. Stop-start technology in cars, actually, they need more lead in those batteries because of all the stopping and starting. So these are some of the things that you don't really read about or hear about or see as you're sort of going along. Big increase in large battery energy storage systems throughout the world. Mainly with solar and wind energy systems, they need big batteries. That's going on. And globally, mine lead production is forecast, to supply really a modest 4.6 to 4.8 million tonnes per annum up to 2026. That includes the production from Abra. Reserve depletion and lack of new mines will start to see that outlook diminish beyond 2024. The graph on the bottom right-hand side is interesting. The little wee thin red sliver going through that graph is the lead production from Abra. So let's talk about Abra. The project is 75% complete. It is one of the largest and cleanest undeveloped lead deposits in the world. Our concentrate grade is going to be at 75% lead, which is about 10% higher than everybody else. And it's 1/10 of the deleterious elements that we're going to be putting in our concentrate. Toho love our concentrate. We've got some really good offtake agreements in place. It's because it's a blending product. It's a clean blending product. People are going to want to get their hands on this to put with some of the other lead that's out there. Toho is a fantastic joint venture partner. They're a very strong and well-established operator in Japan. They have a smelter in Hiroshima at Chigurashima. They've got a lot of sales already in place and ready to go. They've got 40% of this project, and I think it's quite significant, the relationship with Toho. So when you think about Galena and you think about Abra, make sure you spend a little bit of time and have a think about Toho. Have a look at their website. Big company in Japan, very fantastic joint venture partner, and our relationship is very, very strong with those guys. They, I believe, have the ability to even perhaps change the cut-off grade in this mine going forward, based on the concentrate grade that we'll be producing. Project's fully funded. Last week we put a raising in place for a reserve facility. Now that $30 million that the two joint venture partners have put into this project is for our ramp-up period from April through to sort of February through to April next year. Basically, it's a $30 million buffer that we can draw on if we need to. So it's basically our ramp-up buffer. Right now, we don't need that money to finish this project and build this project, but we are a little concerned about the cyclone season for that 3-month period just to get us through that time frame. So we put that facility there. If we don't need to use it, it'll go back to the joint venture partner companies as we go forward. It's an underground mine, 1.3 million tonnes per annum, 30,000 tonnes of lead a year, 550,000 ounces of silver. Average EBITDA, once the mine gets up to steady state, would be $100 million. Very exciting exploration ground. Not much has been done up there from an exploration point of view, and we believe that we've got some really interesting gold and copper mineralisation sitting below our lead and silver deposit that we still need to do some more exploring on. I can show you some pictures on that. So, let's see. So we're 75% built. It's our 16,000 solar panels all in place. The guys did a fantastic job putting them in place. I think we got up to about 800 a day at one stage, but four little backpackers from Spain were knocking out about 800 panels a day. So good on them, they did a great job. But I'd like to especially acknowledge some of our key service providers in this project who I think have done a fantastic job this year. Burncut with the underground mining, GR Engineering with the processing plant, the design work that they've done a great job. Red Dust Holdings did all of our bulk earthworks. Cobham are flying our guys up and down to site. Pacific Energy put this power station into play, and 28 villages are doing the catering and services in our 280-person camp. So those guys have done a great job, and that's got us to where we are today, being 75% complete. Here we go. I'm going to take on a mine visit. Oh, this will be exciting. You want to strap yourself in and hang on because I've had to speed this up a little bit to fit into the time frame. But there's a processing plant. Going past the admin building into the mining section. We're going to go to the box cut. So when you go home from this week, you can say to your family you've been underground, right? We're going to take you on an underground visit here, but hang on because I have to go even a little bit faster now to get down this tunnel. We don't actually drive the vehicles this fast when we go underground. Oh, 2,000 metres down the decline, going down 1 in 7. Was that a vehicle we just passed? I missed it. Oh, who's this? Get out of the way. There's a bogger there too. Come on, get out of the way. Round the corner. Then we go. So now we're going to go through the rock into the model and have a look at the model. So that's the decline's at about 40 metres, sitting above the ore body at the moment. So now we'll zoom around in the ground and just have a look at what the ore body looks like. So it's made up of two sections. This ore body is the apron zone, which has 11 different lenses, and the core zone, which has 36 different high-grade lead lenses. It's a very, very large resource. It's made up, as I said, the apron and the core. In the mine plan, we've got 80% of this ores coming out of the apron, but eventually the core will be the most dominant part of this mine. It's just been very difficult to drill. It's been very deep, and the angle of the drill holes hasn't picked up all the mineralisation in the core. We have 53 kilometres of tunnels that we need to put into this mine to develop the stopes. This is the block model now that we're looking at, zooming around, and you can see the indicated resource in the middle and the inferred resources around the outside. That's just drill hole density, primarily, with a lot of the inferred. So we've still got a lot of drilling to do. We've put 180 odd drill holes into this ore body to get to where we are today. And these are the high-grade stope shapes that we're mining, which is above 5% lead. So that gives you a bit of a feel for what that looks like. The yellow tunnels is what we've completed to date. That's where we're at. We'll have a paste fill plant and we'll fill a lot of those stopes, and you can see we've got the flat stopes and also the quite vertical stopes as you go forward. So that's it. You've been underground today. Well done. So we've got a massive resource, 34 million tonnes at 7.2% lead, and there's the mine plan on the right-hand side. 13 years in the mine plan at the moment, but I think I'm pretty confident that's going to go a lot longer, but that's all we've been able to prove up at the moment. So we're looking well advanced. You can see the yellow part of those declines of where we've got down to as we're moving forward. So that's all looking pretty good. Last week we put out an updated mine plan and production guidance for next year. The bottom right-hand one's obviously the key to this, the $100 million EBITDA once we get to steady state. The other interesting thing there, I think, is the cost, the C1 cash cost. This is the revised cash cost based on current market metrics, sitting around the 50 cents a pound US. So we have a pretty good margin, which underpins the value of this project. The people that get this project and understand this project well have spent a little bit of time, done a bit of spreadsheeting and just had a look at the numbers, and it all starts to stack up once you spend some time and have a good look at it. Exploration-wise, we have a whole cluster of deposits, we believe, particularly out to the west of the Abra project. So on the right-hand side are the Abra tenements for the joint venture, which is 100 square kilometres, and all of those ones with names have either got some mineralisation or some very similar stratigraphic sort of rock types that just need further exploration. So they're Abra lookalikes that we need to do some work on. And then to the west of us is the 100% Galena-owned tenements of 500 square kilometres. And what's really interesting is this woodlands complex, Australia scale an anomaly, geophysical anomaly that needs to follow up. All due respect to our geos who are very good, I'm not quite sure we know what's going on there yet. But I think in the woodlands area and certainly in the area out the Jillawarra project, we call this project, we just haven't been looking deep enough. So you're in a sedimentary basin, and I think a lot of the holes have been very shallow. We need to get down. What we've learnt from going underground in the last month or two at Abra is significant. We're making significant technical inroads into this field, and I think that that's going to augur very well for our exploration programs that we'll probably start to do next year once the plant's built. And there's the gold copper sitting down below the lead silver. We've done very little on this. We need to do some drilling on this and understand this in a little bit more detail, but that's very exciting. And once we start, we've got much better drilling platforms now from the decline. Now we're going to have, doing a fair bit of drilling from underground, we'll be able to get some decent holes into this gold copper area and really start to examine that going forward as well. So we're quite looking forward to some news flow on that next year as well. Just our equity raising from last week, just to revise capital structure so people understand what's going on there. Our second tranche placement will probably be settled in September 22. Basically, that'll take our number of shares from 460 million up to 613 million shares. What it's done is put this reserve facility in place so we can get through that ramp-up period next year, just in case we have some issues. We do cross the Gascoyne River, and if we have a cyclone in that period, we will lose concentrate production going to the port, but it may not happen. So we've just put out some money in place just to cover that if that was a risk. I think it's very prudent of the boards to actually do this. I think it's very sensible for us going forward. And basically, the sources of capital and the uses of capital, this takes us through to June 2023, and it shows that we've got the $181 million locked in place to get this project up and fully running. So that's Abra. Exciting. Really looking forward to the next 12 months. Very proud of my team. We're on time and we're on budget. It's all looking very good. If you'd like to know some more information about it, please come and see our guys at booth E19 and we can run you through it again. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. We have time for a question if there's one from the floor. Please raise your hand. Otherwise, we have one through on the text line. Do you expect to see a re-rating in the share price once you move into first production?
Yes.
There you go.
Well, it should do because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, just do the numbers and look. I thought the thing might get a bit of a move on when we probably went past 50% build, and we're now at 75% build, and all of the contracts are locked in. So, I'm not sure what else we could do. So, yes.
Great. Thanks, Tony.
Okay.
Our next presenter is the...